All right, time to get back in Nightmare Zone Survivors, episode 119. First, some news. The 6 OP things should be out today. In fact, it should be out before I upload this video, but it's finally done. I took the time to write that little, actually it was more than an 8-second tune. It's actually like 24 seconds, but you only hear about 4 to 8 seconds before I fade it out. I also did some work off-screen in the standard zone, in my normal everyday community. I've just been clocking more hours into the game to try to speed up the pace at which we can get the clothing, because I want to get the clothing done. Like, what day is today? Let me look. It's the 14th. Like, we're running out of time to try, like I said, I wanted to get all of the stuff unlocked before Undead Labs added the new stuff in, and I also wanted to get it done before we hit 100 days survived. That was just kind of a... I mean, like, if it doesn't work out that way, it's not like the end of the world or anything, but that is kind of the deadline I was going for. We did get some items, though, so even if I don't get anything to show you in this episode, we have the benefit that I found stuff in the standard zone to show you. So we do have some clothing to go through. So today, I've realized a few problems. One, we're infested. I believe I mentioned that before. Another problem, 7 community members, which means we can't move into the biggest base. So we're stuck in this base for now. We're not going to be using this guy. Put his stuff back. I am going to leave him equipped with this crossbow, though. So since we're going to go destroy, like, plague arts and stuff, this is the perfect opportunity to gain some standing. Since Eric got demoted, his standing is reverted back to being citizen, and plague arts are one of the best ways, possibly the best way, to quickly level your standing back up. Looks like this is... I think we're running out of ammo in regards to...
Gotta get cracking on these plague hearts.
What do you call it? Rifle ammo, that's something that we're running out of. We're going to need to make some ammo. I think we're at the point where we've used all of the relevant weapons for killing a plague art, so I don't think it's a problem that I'm just gonna go to the go-to method for bringing down plague arts, and that's the pyro launcher. Pyro launcher gets the job done fast, and it's also it's a multi-role weapon. It's useful both against the plague arts themselves, and it's gonna be useful against the infestations, because we need to burn infestations as well. I'm gonna leave one slot open, because I also want to bring... Let's make some some scent block.
We're surrounded by fucking thieves here. Send help.
Sounds like somebody's in trouble.
Still need medicine, but we should be okay. Gonna bring a cure with me. Just because this character is probably going to take several doses. Plus, he could get randomly bitten by a plague zombie. Next, we'll check our vehicles. We're definitely going to be using a cargo vehicle.
We're sending help.
We will help this guy, because he's actually right along the way. Oh, I should probably refuel real quick. Especially because we're not using somebody with driving, and that means we're going to deplete our fuel a lot quicker. And that's not what we want. We want to make sure that we have full fuel and plan ahead for fuel consumption. The reason we're going to help this guy is, 1, he's right along the way, and 2, this is the specific kind of mission that immediately turns people into allies, meaning we might have our 8th person right here. Even if he winds up not being that good, I might take them anyways, just because I want to be able to, I want the ability to move into any base. People ask me, how many survivors should you have in a community? The answer is however many you can support with food. If you're taking on more survivors and it's just like killing you in terms of food, then don't take on more survivors. Like, look for ways to increase your food production. You need somebody with gardening. Get somebody, look for the mod, the composting bin. If you don't have the composting bin, loot nurseries. Maybe you get it from farming locations, but definitely nurseries. You can also build a trade depot and call in a food merchant, and the food merchant will often have that available. You can just buy it from them.
We have a feral coming.
Here is said feral.
Fucker.
I'm almost there.
Got Z's inside the building.
I got eyes on another. Okay, clear.
Let's just hit the door. I wanted to hit the door. I really don't want to use the pyro launcher indoors. It's not the most efficient indoor weapon to use.
It won't work. I can't catch my breath.
Okay. Oh, don't worry, she'll be fine. From experience, we've seen that burning non-hostile humans seems to do basically nothing. I mean, it does prevent them from fighting back, but... Okay, while they're cleaning up, let's go ahead and loot.
It's useful, I guess.
Uh-oh. Oh, man. Really? Can you guys not kill this one guy? Okay, so let's see if they stay as allies or if they just move on and pay us.
Definitely.
You saved my ass. No problem.
Don't do nothing I wouldn't do.
Okay, so they do become allies. Let's check.
What's going on, hun?
What do you got for sale first? No med kits. I would have bought a med kit if they had one. Since that random zombie scratch gave us an injury. Now we gotta deal with the result of the screamer screaming. Okay. Let's see what their skills are. I mean, we don't need them right now, but... Programming, we don't want that.
Hey, amigo.
No skills.
Always glad to see you.
And gardening. Okay, so we got a guy with no skills. That's actually pretty good.
I got nothing.
Well, like I said, we don't need him right now, but we're definitely gonna take the guy with the no skills.
I feel like passing out.
Alrighty, time to begin dealing with some of these problems. Prepare our scent block.
Plague zombies in all directions. Better be careful.
See the zombies anywhere. I might be able to just burn this one
You never do get used to the smell.
without applying the scent block.
Now that works great. It's damaged. Gotta keep at it. Plague heart down.
I heard the feral. Oh, 2 of them. Oh, 3 of them. Might be a little hard for you to get through a giant wall of fire, Mr. Feral. Oh, one of them is still alive. Actually, let's loot first. I'm being silly. Take that as a healing item. So, it turns out that grenades are actually worth a good bit. Like, they might actually be worth stacking. They're basically the same value as a basic luxury item. They're like basically worth like 30-ish influence, so they're actually not bad items just to sell. Alrighty, let's move on. So that next target is pretty close to everything else, so we oh my gosh, can I like actually turn and leave before the Juggernaut punches my vehicle? It does a lot of damage to it. That would be super nice.
Should still happen.
Okay, now we'll actually use our scent block.
There's always a couple more left.
Another feral.
Damn! Gotta keep at it.
You know, if you needed to kill ferals as a bounty, fight plague guards. You get like one feral plague guard basically. Not that there is a bounty for those requirements yet, but just something, just making a mental note if that was the case.
Barely lift this.
We'll take these. Stims. Or Willy Pete's. Willy Pete's. Willy Pete's are so fun to use. I do want the stims as well, though, to be completely honest. So I'm probably going to put these in the back and then grab the stims as well. Basically, these are things that we can't create ourselves very easily. Yeah, you can do some shenanigans like craft them in, what's it called, Heartland. If you take, I believe specifically, Larissa's story. But that takes too much effort. I mean, not only do you have to play Heartland and build them there, but then you gotta transfer them over, etc. Not worth the effort, I don't think, at least. Gonna burn everyone real quick. Didn't get that screamer in there, I noticed. There we go, now the screamer's down. Now we got all these visitors coming in. Because the screamer, and there's 3 of them, and their bodies were blocking. Got one in the back. Give me my stamina back. Okay. That's another one down. Let's see how our standing's looking. Oh.
I still have nothing new on this Project Osiris, but Red Talon is investigating. It could just be a citizen radio broadcast, but I don't think so. If there's anything to it, we will let you know.
Shut up already!
You know, that's something that they haven't addressed yet, is like this Project Osiris thing. One of the community members brought up a good point that it's possible that what's his name? I can't even think of it now. Sasquatch has ulterior motives, and like he's not just joining the Red Talon out of the goodness of his heart. Because if he's doing this like Project Osiris thing, then certainly he is a member of the actual U.S. government still. And it's possible that maybe he's joining the Red Talon in order to like act as a double agent. I believe it was Zeta, that was the commenter who brought this up, and I said, you know what, that's possible, considering that in, what do you call it, State of Decay 1, in the Lifeline DLC, that's basically, he had his own objectives given to him by the President, which was to blow up Danforth with a nuke. One thing that's nice about this combo with the scent block is that because the zombies can't detect us, we can get the highly time efficient rear execution with close combat. Which feels really good to get a chain of them off. It eats up a lot of stamina though. Executions, all the executions are quite stamina costly. Really don't want to burn my own vehicle, but hopefully that was far enough away. Looks like it was. So we were able to clear the enemies without also damaging our vehicle. Because if you didn't know, yeah, the pyro launcher is actually really good at destroying vehicles. It's quite destructive.
I hope nothing heard that. Can't do it.
There's the screamer, I was looking for it. Please? Okay, there we go. I was hoping that would count as cleaning it.
Good job.
Next target is this plague art. More scent block, and we'll go ahead and use our cure as well.
Well, that's the last of them. Fall apart yet.
And our... Oh, come on. I've got the scent block on. He just, like, bites me anyways, because he's a jerk.
Gotta keep at it. That's one player that won't give us any more trouble.
That's why we brought the cure, though, because, like I said, you can get bit. Something dumb can happen. Something dumb always happens. Okay, I'll take this. I'm going to use both of these. I'll take these. I'll take that. I'll take this. We got two of the preppers have been the item drops so far. Switch to this weapon. Look at my inventory while it's reloading. Check the map. I want to hit basically these 4 objectives within this one. Within this scent block, or preferably at least. Although we might not have... I don't think we have enough pyro launcher ammo to destroy 2 plague guards.
Zombies for a while.
I'll have to go restock. Especially because I'm going to be using some of the ammo to kill those 2 infestations as well.
That was loud.
Where are you, plague guard? In the back room? Yes, you are. Fire particles making it super laggy. So one of the things that's really annoying about it's not even the pyro launcher's fault. It's just the way there's some kind of problem with fire particles in, or I don't even know if it's fire particles, but fire projectiles have a problem in State of Decay. The problem is that they start to like
Gotta keep at it.
they start to collide into like thin air basically. Whoa, whoa, whoa. That was really laggy. And so what happens is they start to collide with basically thin air, and the end result is that let's take the RV issue backpack. And so the end result is the fire starts to get closer to you because the projectiles are hitting the air, and like they're hitting the air closer and closer and closer to you. And then you burn yourself, which is like dumb. It used to be a lot worse, where you would throw like a Molotov, for example, and then the Molotov would just like explode immediately as it leaves your hand, and you would just like set yourself on fire. Fortunately, it's not as bad as it used to be. And it's been fixed for, or I don't know if it, let's not go so far as to say it's been fixed. It has been improved significantly since those times. Okay, so this looks like it was a full-sized. Trying to conserve our ammo here. Basically got to shoot like 1 at a time, and also shoot like one where the fire's going to spread the most. Still got 5 of them, which is annoying. Ah, I need to use a stamina item. So the screamer screaming has caused basically a million guys to show up. Par for the course. Got guys coming through this door over here. Okay, we're clear. I got 8 shots left. That's good enough to clear another infestation. Or kill another feral. Whichever comes first. So yeah, if you watch the top 6 OP things, then you know that I rated the pyro launcher as the most OP thing in the game, and I would definitely say it is. I think if I had to pick what is the one most OP thing in the game, it's definitely the pyro launcher, because it suits pretty much any playstyle, unless your playstyle is specifically to not use OP things. You know, it's very easy to maintain the supply of the ammo, because like Scent Block is also up there. Scent Block is also pretty OP, but the difference is that the pyro launcher is very easy to maintain the ammo of, whereas you could foreseeably have ammo problems keeping the scent block going. Somehow we still have not burned those screamers, which is really annoying, and they're just going over and over and over again. I think that got him this time. One shot right there should burn those guys. I need to go in here and kill this guy. Okay, I at least grounded him, which means he can't scream until he gets back up. Well, like I said, look at that. I fired one shot there, and look how many I just killed. Which is, it's just nuts. And that was just one shot. And it's like, because some people might say, well, can't you get the same effect out of a Molotov? Not for the same kind of efficiency. Like just one shot of the pyro launcher versus one whole Molotov. Plus, this is a point-and-shoot weapon. It's just, it's nuts how efficient it is in terms of... Let's just loot this stuff here.
I don't know, left this line around. They're lost.
Since we do need to return back to base. I can carry a rucksack on my back, actually.
Not really what I was hoping for.
Does this guy have... Okay, I'm about to say, like, why have I not gotten a search crash? I'm like, am I just super lucky? There we go. Okay, now we got a ton of stuff we're bringing. Let's see all the stuff we're bringing back.
Whole lot of nothing we got here.
We're bringing back, what, 6 rucksacks, the grenades, we got all this stuff here. A pretty good haul. But yeah, that's one of the things I was thinking about. What is the most OP thing? I mean, here's the thing. There are definitely competitors with the pyro launcher, but I think it's definitely the pyro launcher is just crazy. Like, I think the only competitor is the scent block, and if people are like, I don't know, I think the scent block is more OP than the pyro launcher, I would accept that. I'd be like, okay, there is definitely an argument. I would still give it to the pyro launcher just due to the, it's more sustainable than the scent block. The scent block, you can go through it very quickly, especially if you're using it really haphazardly. Like if you're just using scent block and you're not getting a lot done with the amount of time that you have with it, you could go through your samples pretty quickly, but it's still just insanely powerful. And there's definitely more than 6 things that are overpowered in State of Decay, which is why I didn't make it a top 10, because One, a top 6 is easier. The reason I didn't make it, there's a few reasons I didn't make it a top 10. I'm sure someone will wonder. One is, I like to talk about each thing a little bit longer, and a top 10 would have made the video longer than about 10 minutes. I wanted it to be an easy-to-watch video. The one that you don't have to commit much to, like 10 minutes, sure, I could watch that. And if I made it a longer video, then yeah, I would have run into that problem where, like, people who want to watch a shorter video are going to be turned off by it. So,
Complete. Safe and sound.
we put this stuff away. Let me quickly grab some ammo in case I get jumped by a feral and I need to defend myself. Because we just had a streamer scream and I heard a feral earlier, so... And it sounds like the feral is attacking. It sounded like the feral's voice. Sounds like we got the everything attacking, like based on the map. So we're just gonna create like a wall of fire there, so if they attempt to go through it, they'll all burn. There's the feral. Throw another shot in there just to be safe. So all the zombies who attempted to go through there got burned. Because you could use it as, like, once again, I could just shoot fire on the gate and prevent the zombies from passing through. I mean, they can pass through, but if the gate is shut, they actually can't, because they'll get ignited and then they'll panic and they won't be able to get through. It's just such a incredibly flexible weapon. Somehow that zombie's still alive, and another thing that makes it so strong is, like I said, we can burn our allies, and they don't really take that much damage, to be honest. Oh, they might not take any damage at all, actually. I don't know. During the 100th episode, yeah, everyone was using pyro launchers, and yeah, people got injured, but I think that has more to do with, like, zombies damaging our allies. Because one thing is, as OP as it is, it's really not good in the hands of your allies. It's a weapon that only you should use.
Too much time with the damn zombies would make me sick.
Okay, so we have foiled their attack. Was this a bloater? So, oh yeah, that's another thing, is that the fire from the pyro launcher will burn up the bloater gas, cause it to explode, which is a pretty neat effect. Not only does it make it safer for your allies, but you can also use it to blow the zombies up.
It's like a fucking beacon for zombies.
Now we can let Eric rest, since he is fairly sick. No, I want him to use the dev grew, actually. Actually, maybe you should use the AA-12 instead, because I don't think this has the option to go, yeah, this is exclusively an automatic shotgun. Just get away from me, you zombie. I'm shopping. Take care of him for me. Take care of him, Mackie. I want to shop. Take care of him. Thank you. So one of the things I've noticed is that if you want your allies to shoot automatic, you pretty much have to use weapons that only fire automatically. So there could be value into calling in a bunch of these weapons and kind of like hybridize your defense between BFGs and AA-12s. Although, you might not be able to do that. I believe the AA-12 is... It might be a ultimate ranged weapons. I can't remember. Like, you might only get one of them, so maybe that's not even a functional idea. Anyways, let's go play as somebody and go do some looting before we're done. Who else has... So who has stealth? You do. You don't. Don't. You do. Thank you for volunteering. Actually, is it more important to save fuel right now? Or is it more... Yeah, it's more important to spend fuel, so let's go ahead and use Mackie. And we'll just cure him. And what do you know, he's also already prepped for this mission anyways, or partially prepped. Look at this guy. He might be the screenshot just because he's in such a weird place. Or the screenshot for the episode thumbnail. 2 stacks of ammo. Let's downgrade to energy drinks. Oh my gosh!
Can't do it.
Shut the door. So they at least have to punch their way through. It at least gives me a warning. The weapon is not damaged. We do need a pyro launcher. Oh my god, I gotta go all the way to the... This is why we need a favorites tab. This is why we need the favorites tab. Look at this. Get away from me. Get away from me. Get away from... Why am I injured again? I didn't get attacked. I'm like just mysteriously injured. I didn't get attacked by anyone. I dodged his attacks. And I'm just injured again. Or did I never cure the... Okay, never mind. I never cured the injury. Okay. Okay. I was about to get upset about it. Okay, this pyro launcher is undamaged. Oh my, we're just constantly under attack at this location. It wouldn't bother me if this location wasn't so inconvenient. We have like no sound too. Look, our threat level is minimal. I'm actually impressed that our threat level is minimal on top of that. Huh. Once we hire that extra guy, our threat level will go back up though, so that's probably something we need to do as well. And I'm gonna head out in that direction to loot anyways, so we'll go hire him. Yeah, I know we're low on medicine, so let's just throw all those in. Let's do this. Oh, we can put both of them in. Well, that's perfect. It says we're out of storage, but we're literally right at the cap, so we're fine.
Anyone out there need to do some trading?
Who are you? I guess we'll see what he has to sell. Probably has garbage, but we don't know for sure. Maybe he has fuel. I'll buy fuel. Oh, what's our influence at as well? Oh, look at that. We're almost up to max again. Our Plague Heart's OP on Nightmare Zone. I mean, like, they're basically, like, one of the best ways to restock your influence. I mean, there's a disadvantage that you have to change maps repeatedly, but if you're willing to change maps repeatedly, Plague Arts might actually be OP.
Hey, how's it going?
He is a medicine merchant.
Talk to this guy about a thing.
I'm probably gonna buy all the med kits. I'm gonna buy those just because they're rare. I'll buy the medicine.
Crap to haul around.
And we need to reduce our influence anyways. I'd take these as well. I mean, why not? But this is obviously that would have been a mysterious quest. We probably abandoned it though, and that's why we're not seeing the actual quest. Or we probably allowed it to time out.
Sounds about right.
I never even used that pentamazine stuff.
So, you ready to start dealing?
This stuff right here.
Like a plan.
Doses of pentamazine. I never even use that. It's like, I don't even think they're needed. Like, because what they do is they allow you to aim more steadily. Like, they reduce the sway on weapons. But, I mean, I'm not saying reducing sway isn't something that could be helpful, but it's more that it's not something that you need to do. Especially because of gunslinging. I mean, you can just, like, aim snap on enemies close by, and, you know, how important is it to engage enemies that are really far away? And you could also just use a weapon that doesn't have much sway to begin with, like the Echo S2, the police sniper rifle, or any of the other sniper-style weapons like the Arctic Warrior. I think we can put 2 of these in. Yeah, we can put 1 more in. Put all of this stuff in. And then transfer this over. We can put 1 of those in. Oh, not the second one. We can use another one of these. And that lets us fit 1 of these in. We can add a food in. Okay, we're good. Okay, so step 1. Let's go get that guy who doesn't have a skill. Out of my stupid areas that I can't drive through. That might have been too steep. Okay, we're good. We got screamers right there, and then these guys are going to scream in reaction because they heard it. So there's another mechanic you may not be aware of if you're newer to Nightmare Zone. Actually, it's not just Nightmare Zone. Screamers will do that anytime. Basically, they're kind of linked together. The reason why it's mainly a Nightmare Zone feature is because they're not loud enough. The screams they make don't travel far enough on Standard Zone, but they will do it. You know, in hindsight, I'm not even sure if that's a really... I don't know if that's really advantageous to zombies to link up their screams together, because honestly, it could just cause the zombies to go towards far away screamers instead of you. Maybe the idea is that they're drawing farther zombies away closer, so if you don't kill the screamers that are nearby, they'll, like... the zombies that were out of range will come towards you? I have no idea. I'm not sure if it actually benefits the zombies to link the screams together. Maybe it just causes panic. Maybe it's just like, oh my god, you see all these screamers scream together and it could cause you to, like, freak out. You don't know what to do, because it can be a bit strange. But I'm not sure. I'm not sure if it actually... if you're not spooked by it, like if the psychological element doesn't affect you, I don't know if linking the screamers together actually is an advantage to the zombies or not.
Come on in.
It's you.
Hey, amigo. It's time for you to leave
Actually,
the Bush League and step up to the majors.
one last time, let's see what they have to sell. I'll buy these.
Those jerks don't deserve you. Hang with us instead.
Yeah, you know, they never talk about it, but... oh wait, we can loot this building. Well, we always could loot this building, but... we can search for the final lootable. Okay, so we already found the fridge. That's number 2. Ah, here we go.
Guess that's it for this place.
Medicine. I can hold it temporarily. Might get injured and use it. So this place is bugged and it's not going to show as searched until I relog in. I'm sure that bug really drives people nuts who get OCD about
The sheriff really stepped up and helped us out. So
keeping their map really clean and efficient looking.
Figures.
I got a comment that people are like, oh wow, you're actually really good with that crossbow. It's actually the primary weapon I use. I'm still a little out of practice. Oh man, almost choked on breathing in air. That would have been embarrassing. I'm still a little out of practice because I've mainly been using guns for a while, but for a long time that was the only weapon I would use was crossbows, just because if you want to go down the efficiency rabbit hole, the crossbow is debatably arguably the best weapon in the game for general everyday use. I think we killed that zombie before it screamed. Not sure, I didn't see the sound waves, but I also wasn't completely paying attention. He was in the process of it, though. Here's the final lootable.
Nothing left to see here.
I'll take those.
I don't see any more Zeds.
Efficiency, though, it's a really frustrating topic, because like I said, there's this efficiency rabbit hole. Occasionally people get into arguments with me on the channel about efficiency. Like, for example, like, a lot of people really like weapons handling. But the issue with weapons handling is they're like, oh, you don't have to spend any parts if you're using weapons handling, but then we could say, who cares if you're using indestructible weapons? If you use indestructible weapons, you never spend any, and they never break down. And then on top of that, you could also argue that why are you using guns when you could use crossbows because they're indestructible and you can salvage the ammo. It's and at that point you start to get to kind of this moment where now you have to debate, oh, but crossbows are harder to use. But you could practice with crossbows. And like I said, you start to get there. There's no end to it. Where they're like, what is technically the most efficient? Another argument you could make is, who cares about weapons handling if you're really good at logistics? Like if you've got 6,000 parts, because you're really good at maintaining your parts. If you're really good at farming and whatnot, then who cares? Like parts are irrelevant if you've just got a crap load of them, and you don't need to be efficient. You basically you can reduce your efficiency in weapons in exchange for more efficiency. Leave me alone. Like, I need to be quiet for a moment since all these guys are closing in on me, and I'm using my ears at the moment. Why are all these guys coming here? Like, nobody screamed.
Heck, motherfucker! I'm dead on my fucking feet here.
They're still coming. They're behaving as if somebody screamed. Yeah, I hear a thump, but that's a zombie pounding on a different location. Do I want to drop anything for this? I kind of do, just because it stacks. Let's put something in the... I'll put some of my ammo back in the trunk. Because these are all the stacking items, basically. And they'll just stack up really nicely. Except for those plague samples.
Just what I like to see. No Zeds.
Here we go. Leather jacket Azure. Oh, I believe this is the exclusive one to this region, so that's actually extremely good that we found that. And here's the final lootable as well. Secure case. That would be good to sell, but we're capped out on our stuff. Drive a little further. But yeah, the point though is that when people, one of the things that's annoying is when people want to argue about efficiency, they tend to not have a holistic view, and by that I mean they don't take the entire game into consideration. Because, like, one might say, well, isn't it inefficient to brute force the game with 6,000 parts? Not necessarily, because if you brute force the game with 6,000 parts, you could then argue that I can use the most powerful weapons in the game, and destroy zombies without effort, take less damage, and be more time efficient. So you could argue that's more efficient. And that's why it's a rabbit hole, because like the hole just goes in all these different directions when we get into like the technicalities of like what is more efficient. But people tend to have like really binary logic, like weapons handling is the most efficient blah 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 in the game because you never have to spend your parts. But like I said, you could say, well, who cares about parts when you've got like 6,000 of them? Or you could say, like, who cares about saving parts on your weapons when you're just going to, like, when you're just going to use weapons that don't take damage to begin with? But like I said, people have, like, they tend to get tunnel vision on certain skills. And the result of this, like, how do you get that way, is basically you find a skill that jumps at you, and you're like, this is the best skill in the game because of X reason. And you really like that, and that's what you really value as a player. And as a result, what happens is you never use any of the other skills in the game. You tunnel vision into this one skill, and you never see the value of the other skills. Like, I had that same issue until I made the reviews. I was basically like, I actually thought, I was one of the people who thought that weapons handling is the best skill in the game because save parts. It was the only skill. If we go all the way back to when I was first making videos in State of Decay 2, all of my guys had weapons handling. Unless weapons handling wasn't an option, because I was like, oh, well, save materials, you know, this is a survival game, use less materials. It wasn't until I started making guides on the other weapon skills, and I was just like, holy crap, these other skills are actually, like, insanely powerful, and it's okay to, no, I'm not gonna fight the Feral when there's also a mixed zombie group there. What we're gonna do is just drive away and come back to it later.
They fought and died with us. I thought I knew Brotherhood before, but I learned its true meaning that day.
And that was one of the things right there. When I started using all of the skills, and I had no choice but to use all the skills because I had to make the videos for them, and that was the end result. I was like, wow, I gained a lot of appreciation for other skills, and when I picked skills like gunslinging, I was like, well, now I'm going to use more parts. Like, how do I compensate for it? And so then I did. I would have to compensate for the parts, and I was like, well, it's actually not even a big deal. It's actually not even hard at all to compensate for the lack of parts. And the end result was, as I said, just the new appreciation for skills that I would have otherwise ignored. So these guys are in the way. We are going to have to kill them. They are linked together, so I'm going to assassinate one of them, and all of them are immediately going to converge on me. That's just the way hordes work. Oh, they're breaking the rules today. However, that one...
Oh, there's more where that came from. I need a break.
First we chop their legs off. Need my stamina. We're just going to use an item. Okay, he screamed anyways. I was hoping to avoid... I was hoping to kill him quick enough before they screamed, but... You can see the game wigging out on me again, not going for the executions even though I am grabbing them. Okay, there's another one you saw there. I actually hit the guy. I actually got the hit confirm on him, and yet he swung through and hit me anyways. It's these small little things that get really annoying in State of Decay 2. Right there I was debating, okay, I actually need to get this, because I want the fuel. Fuel's fine, so let's actually put this back in.
Just what I like to see. No zits.
But yeah, that's one of the things that annoys me, like the periodic commenters, because it's like, what annoys me is people are basically here to argue that, oh, you didn't like my favorite skill, so I'm mad about it. You know, like, this favorite skill of mine is like the ultimate skill. You're dumb. In other words, they're not here to learn. They're here to defend their favorite skill. And unfortunately, there's a very, very, very good chance, and I'm going to try to say this without sounding egotistical, but there's an extremely good chance that due to the amount of research I've done, that I probably know more about the skills than the typical player. That doesn't mean that someone can't approach with like a really good argument. Occasionally people do. Like, here's a good, someone made the argument that
Damn it, locked.
acrobatics is good because it's fun. I'm like, you know what? I'll accept that, because it is actually. The flying knee attack is pretty fun. There's, I could even see myself using acrobatics on one character, just because it is fun. I'll give him that. But, there is a good chance, just due to the research, that I probably know more about the skills and the comparison than the skills than the typical player. And while I'm willing to hear other people's arguments, because sometimes people think of something that I didn't, most of the time, they do not. Like, the vast majority of the time, their argument is the same as all of the other arguments, and it's one that I've heard a million times, and I've considered a million times, and I've disagreed with it a million times. And the issue is, as I said, it is the efficiency rabbit hole. And it's in every single game that involves optimization. It's really bad in Warframe. In fact, it's one of the top things that can cause you to quit Warframe. Because the efficiency rabbit hole in that game will cause you to basically pick between fun and efficiency. Because in that game, there's a lot of grinding. And you gotta think, okay, I'm gonna grind this thing. What is the most efficient way to grind? And the answer is typically to adopt a playstyle that is super automated, like a playstyle that requires as little input as possible, because you're trying to remove as much error as possible. So it's not interactive. It has a tendency to play itself. Low risk. And typically it's also very effective. But that's inviting extreme levels of burnout. It might be fun to do a few times because you're like, oh man, look how much progress I'm making. It's so easy. But after you do it for a few hours, and then you realize that, oh no, I need to do this for hundreds of hours. I have to do this for basically the rest of the game, because it's just the best way to grind. You're quickly going to have this problem where you're like, I'm getting bored, I want to do things differently. But now that you understand the most efficient way to do it, in the back of your head, you're going to be like, okay, so I must accept that I must sacrifice efficiency. I'm going to be X percentage less efficient in exchange for being more fun. And for some people, that drives them nuts, because they're like, oh gosh, instead of thinking I had an hour of fun, you think I had an hour of inefficiency, where I might have gotten 2 to 3 times, in some cases, depending on the method used, maybe I was 5 or 6 times less loot that I could have obtained because I'm using a less efficient method that was more fun, but it wasn't enjoyable. Headshots so we don't make as much noise. And, yeah, that's a really big problem in MMORPGs. Or any game, like, Warframe's not an MMO, but any loot-based game, you run into this issue of progression versus entertainment. Because typically the fastest way to progress is not the most fun. And the best builds to progress quickly, they tend to get extremely boring. Because they're not really designed to be fun. They're designed to be efficient. And that's why a lot of these efficiency arguments, they're really stupid. Like, I will still tell people what I would consider, and I try to pick what I would assume to be the most generally efficient consideration in State of Decay. Like, I would consider saving parts to be efficient, because typically people are not going to have 6,000 parts laying around. If you're having 6,000 parts laying around, then it doesn't matter. And like, then people, oh, only 6,000 parts. I have like 15 bajillion parts. Once you have a few thousand parts, it doesn't matter. Like, all of the additional parts are just overkill.
This place looks safe for now.
Ah, man, another one. Knitcap Blue Striped. Very nice. So we're up to 55 minutes, so we can loot a few more places before we go. But that's what I tried to do. I tried to pick what I would assume to be the most accessibly efficient combination. One that one where the answer is, what are you, a noob? Like, just grind a 15 bajillion parts and never worry about it ever again. That's not like an accessible method. Like, that would require some time to stock up and build up to. And I guess some people don't understand that. I mean, a lot of times what they say is true, but it's not like, it's not a sensible thing to advise, especially to like a new player, or even to an intermediate player. I wouldn't expect an intermediate player to have like 6 bajillion parts. So we're going back here, because I'm going to assume that the zombies have dispersed, allowing us to return. Even if we drive past, like, those zombies should leash. I believe they will. And the feral might also have gone, too. Okay, so those guys did not leash, unfortunately, or they did not despawn. And there's the feral as well. We might just clear them. Do we clear them? We're gonna go for a stealth. And we'll clear them if necessary. Because that's a mixed horde. Mixed horde's probably one of the most annoying hordes. Consists of a combination of regular zombies, at least one screamer, and one feral. The blend of zombies is really what makes it dangerous. Probably not going to talk too much here because I need to use my ears.
Nothing here.
Looks like some hungry deadheads are wandering in. Not a problem, just letting you know.
Fire in the hole!
I just wanted to do that just for the sake of doing it. No other reason. Is he gonna get on the hood? I hope he doesn't. That'd be annoying. Oh good, he's stupid. Some of these ferals are really, really dumb. They have to, like, roar. And while they're roaring, there's enough time to start up your engine and just drive away. It's not even a big deal. But it's not. And all this badness that appeared suddenly. Multiple ferals, a full plague horde. Not like it matters, because we're heading back. We got, you know, for only spending 30 minutes looting, that was pretty good. Even less than 30 minutes, like maybe like 20, 25-ish minutes. Got 2 items. I mean, like, this, I think this is in terms of productivity, it was a pretty good overall episode. Unless we got to talk about an interesting subject, like I said, the efficiency rabbit hole. It's, efficiency is it's such a interesting subject just because, like, I've played MMOs for so long that the subject of efficiency, like, you're going to hear it so frequently, and it's kind of one of those things where you can tell how experienced a gamer is. People who don't play a lot of these kinds of games, they tend to have the tunnel-minded, black and white, binary view of, like, this is the best thing, all other things are less efficient. That usually tells me that they probably haven't been playing these kinds of games very long. Because typically, someone who's played enough years of games where you have to consider efficiency, they eventually realize that, dude, I am burning the heck out of these games because I'm just playing purely for progression, and I've basically traded fun for progression. And typically it dawns on them after a while. Some people, some people never figure it out, though. They never realize that they think that, oh, the game is boring now, so I'm moving on to a different game. They don't think that maybe they are inducing burnout upon themselves.
Everybody get ready. We got wall-to-wall zombies coming in.
I mean, it's not always the case, though. Sometimes you just are bored of the game, but a lot of times I would say, do I really want to heal myself? I'll hold on to one in the event I need to heal myself. So what we're gonna do is defend the base, and then we're going to, well, let's call in a field trader. Defend the base. Teach the guy probably medicine. Also, we'll check his stats.
Got your fuel. Looks like you get to keep driving these heats a little longer.
One shot just to keep the gates burning. That'll just keep them off the gates. Oh, they bashed their way through. Congratulations. Oh, a maze of stupid things.
Fuck, Screamer! We can use what we learned here to keep surviving this shit.
Did we kill the Screamer? No, we did not. Let's go deal with them real quick. Okay, remove that. The fuel trader is still on the way. Oh, didn't want to ram that open, but let's shut this. Okay. Unload all this crap. Step one, let's check our new recruit, Justin. Excellent, he has no negative skills, so quite good. He has traveled the world. I spent whatever time I could seeing the world. Glad I grabbed the chance while I had it. Well, this is basically a whole new world. The zombie apocalypse might as well be a different world, so you're still traveling the world. Overachiever, why settle for an A when I have an A plus with extra credit? Extra labor, that's a nice bonus skill. Also gives us some extra skills as well. Animal lover, made more friends with 4 legs than with 2. And he has no crippled skills. So let's switch to Justin.
Should be focused on wiping out all the plague hearts in town.
And we'll teach him medicine. Oh, we probably need to reactivate this as well. Just have a sense for when that's probably about time. So let's go ahead and... Oh yeah, he came with a pretty good gun too. The Target Mark III, that's not a bad starting gun. Get him some basic supplies. Put him on guard duty. With a BFG. Get him any old weapon. Oh, a blunt weapon. Blunt weapons are pretty good for new characters. You're not going to use this crappy screwdriver as a close combat weapon, even though we rarely do anything. There we go. Now you're going to learn a skill. You're going to learn medicine. Of course. How did he get it? Did we not close? Did I not close the door? And the geometry prevented me from getting that execution off again. I wish the game would just execute a zombie. If the geometry causes you to fall off of them, like basically, if you're pushed off of a zombie, not because you got interrupted by a zombie, just kill that guy. Just make the zombie's head explode. It's such an annoyance when the geometry, like, because you're executing them on like a staircase or something, and it's like, whoa, look, or there's like a car in the way or something. So that means we can actually upgrade this. He's fine though. We can now switch back to... well, we're gonna put Mackie on guard duty. So let's get Mackie on guard duty.
Building materials here, guys.
Actually, we need to... where's the fuel trader? Really? That's where you're gonna stand. You're not even close to my base. Do we have any materials to throw in? Ah, this is so dumb. You're not even close to my base.
Let me make you an offer. All right.
Yeah, I want this. This. That's probably it. Now I gotta... oh, this is so dumb. Put this in. Throw that inside. So what we're gonna do next is we will check our clothing, and we'll also call... oh, this guy's name is Zex. That's why he's here. Because he's Zex. He's Zex Marquise. He's like... he's too edgy. He's like, I'm a lone wolf. I get better along alone. That's why he's keeping his distance. He can't trust us.
Let me make you an offer.
Yeah, sure.
Okie dokes. Let's get rid of him. Let him go back to feeling sorry about the Sank Kingdom being overran.
Somebody's here to make a deal.
Hello. I'm here with food for trade.
A horde of 3. Most impressive. Okay. Okay, now what we're gonna do is while the material guy is arriving, we're gonna look at our clothing. Because like I said, we gathered some clothing, but we have clothing from another episode. So let's see, we'll use him because he has an open stance. Layered t-shirt. Here's Ouchie. I believe this is another member of the State of Decay community. This is one of the layered t-shirts. If you don't like the layered look, this one might be okay for you to choose, because even though it's still using the layered outfit, because it's the same color, you don't notice it as much, so an option. Leather jacket, Azure. Got a pretty bright blue, but it's got all this kind of like faded... it's got like a... basically, it's like fading into black at the bottom, which actually, despite being so blue, doesn't look that bad. I don't know if I agree with the white straps. Actually, I wouldn't be opposed to the white straps if he was wearing something else. So, okay, here's the problem with this leather jacket. It's not that it's blue. It's not that it's white. It's everything else. Everything else does not match. And it causes... basically, the blue really pops out because of the color contrast of everything else. Like, I don't think this blue would necessarily be a problem otherwise. You might be able to do something like with the backpack to help it out. Though, the straps could probably be a little bit darker gray. Army cap.
Shit, I just spotted a plague zombie.
Just that tan color. Basically, the one that... wait, am I being attacked? A Juggernaut, of course. Let me get my 50 cal out real quick in case the Juggernaut starts interfering with my fashion. Also, he might kill the materials guy. My controller's vibrating, which means the Juggernaut's foot is stomping. Let's go ahead and shut him up real quick. He must be right outside. He's right in here.
Yeah, that's a screamer, all right.
Oh my god, and now all of these guys are here. Ah, I see. It was just one Juggernaut of the entire group. Stand right here because the Juggernaut's dumb and we'll have trouble getting through that. Uh-oh. Get away from the bloater. Change weapons.
Damn, I'm tired.
I just love how the just random wandering zombies are more of a threat than actually than an actual siege. And it's not a Nightmare Zone thing either. I imagine it's actually very similar on Standard Zone. Because they've increased the amount of zombies in the game just across the board. And a feral now. We have killed one of every zombie type. Well, we're about to kill the feral, but we'll have killed basically one of every zombie type. There we go, and there's a screamer. There. I think the only zombie we didn't kill is armored zombie. We killed one of every freak zombie though, because I don't think they count as... Oh, we called in a food trader. We don't need a food trader. We need... materials trader. Doesn't matter. We're still looking through our clothing anyway, so he has time to get here.
Can you come back and handle it?
Okay. Knit cap. Got this one. This one would match the jacket. In fact, we could just put it on real quick just to show you. There you go. These two would match. Would this match the blue one? Wrong shade of blue. Makes you look kind of clownish. So, after that, we're going to look at how close we are to completing the collection. Here we've got a... kind of like the dark green, kind of like... green with like a lot of low value. The black one and that one. Okay, so let's see. Let's return you to your standard appearance. So we've got all the denim jackets. We're missing one flannel shirt. It's in a house. Houses. All of these are in houses. This is the final one. It's the Drucker County one, so this was indeed the Cascade Hills one. Got all the hoodies. All the puffy vests. Ninja hoodie. That's the special thing that we get. We got all the tactical uniforms. So let me count how many we're missing. That one doesn't count. 1, 4, 5... We're missing 5 tops, not including the special thing. And then over here, got all the army caps, all the baseball caps, all the classic cowboy hats, all the dockyard caps, all the flat brim caps. We got the jug mask, all the knit cap. Yep, all the knit caps. We're missing 2 military helmets, and that's the special one. So we are missing a total of 7. We're missing 2 hats and 5 tops. These are all found in police stations, military outposts, and whatnot. And then all of these are found in... This is found in a house. Drucker County House, and I think those are the other ones as well. Yeah, so we basically just need two things. Houses, and then like kind of like hybrid, those police and military locations. Put all this back. Reload. Guy's tired, so we'll send someone else in. Let's also change our melee weapons out. Do a nice fresh one. This away. Change characters. Do, I don't know, Suzanne. We'll play as you, it doesn't really matter. Okay, you're way at the very top. But fortunately, there is a ladder that goes all the way down the building. And our materials trader also chose not to. So I guess the call-in traders, they just don't want to get close.
So what do we got today? Okay.
So this is what I mean by, like, you can get really good mods just by calling these in. Like the CNC mill, we can get that for 500 influence just by calling. Basically 625 influence if you include the cost of calling in the trader. I mean, that's worth it to just guaranteedly find a CNC mill, which is, like, definitely one of the best mods in the game.
So what do we got today?
Oh my gosh, why don't you want to trade? You have to, like, come to, like, a complete stop or something. This is quickly getting our parts back in order. And you earn so much influence on Nightmare Zone that it's like,
You got something
does it
for
really
me?
matter if you have to spend all this? And if I wanted to, I could then sell stuff back to get my influence back, but I don't need to do that.
I need a
Time to sign out. Let's let Mackie sign out. He did the work. He put the effort in. And he's already up top here. Perfect. Barely see as a result of that. Wait, we can use this lighting here. There we go. In fact, we can just look into the lighting like this and change the angle. Perfect. So, today we cleaned out this area. I mean, you can tell from all the areas that we visited. Got 2 collectible items, burned out some of the plague guards, still plenty to go. Still a lot of infestations remaining. We'll probably destroy this section next, because we got the infestations over there. 4 plague guards and infestation. Still got a lot to do. We got the 8th person, which means we can now move into here. Which I may or may not do, depending. I mean, we probably will, because we're going to be spending some time here trying to loot. Or I might be compelled to move into Drucker County early so that we can... Basically, if we move into Drucker County, every time I loot a house, we'll have another chance at getting a regional exclusive item. So I might... What I might do is just loot a few hotspots, like any ammo locations, police locations, surplus stores, stuff like that, and then just leave. In fact, let's go ahead and just get that cranking right now. It seems like a good idea, honestly. The other reason it's a good idea, we'll be able to quickly get into the remaining building, the remaining bases that I have not yet personally lived in Drucker County, because we've lived in every base in the game except for, I think, the Wheelhouse truck stop. I'll double check everything when we get there, but then I'll be able to review all of the bases again from the Nightmare perspective. And then I can do also like a what is the best base in the game, the worst base in the game, stuff like that. Anyways, that's long enough. We're up to an hour and 20 minutes. That's the end of this episode. Like this video if it was entertaining. Subscribe for future State of Decay content. Of course, remember that you don't have to be good to be super efficient and ruin everything.